to Vandergraaf for sponsoring this Road to Recovery video. Visit their website to learn how the Grizzly Drive drum motor increases the reliability and reduces the cost of ownership of conveyor systems.
Ken, through your analysis, you're keeping tabs on construction employment. For 2020, it seemed like that was somewhat of a mixed bag, although based on what you put out there from AGC, it seems like more states were down in 2020 versus those who were up. And a couple of the ones that were down quite a bit. I think Vermont was one that you guys listed at 20+% in terms of down employment. What are you seeing right now in terms of employment? I don't know if you can look forward to and forecast where that's going to go, but as an indicator of how construction is faring right now, maybe you can kind of provide some insight on how employment can kind of serve as an indicator for greater construction.
Yes. Again, there's some disparity between the top line government figures and what happens if you just focus on the non-residential side. The construction industry, like the whole economy, really went into a deep freeze in March and April last year when the pandemic first hit. Lots of projects were halted either by owners or by government orders. And so the industry lost 1.1 million jobs in just 2 months. That was half as many as it lost in the entire 5-year period from 2006 to 2011. About 14% of the people who were on payrolls at that recent peak in February. And that was pretty much equivalent to what happened throughout the economy, about a 14% job loss. Well, contractors were very quick to apply for, receive, and put to use the Paycheck Protection Program loans that became available in April. And also those stop work orders were generally lifted. So the industry had a good rebound in May. And on the residential side, that has continued right through the end of the year to the point that residential employment has actually topped the level that it was at in February, taking into account seasonal adjustment. Whereas non-residential construction employment, that's employees of general building contractors, of specialty trade contractors that do non-residential primarily, and heavy and civil engineering firms, that employment stalled in June, stayed level until September. It's risen at a modest rate through the last 3 months of the year, but the upshot is only 60% of the jobs that were lost from February to April have come back on the non-residential side. Now, looking forward, again, turning to the AGC Hiring and Business Outlook survey, we found that about a third of firms said they expected to add to their own headcount in 2021, and a quarter said that they expected a decrease. So that sounds positive, but just a year before, when we asked the same question, we had something like 80% of firms saying they expected to expand and only 5% to shrink. So I think contractors are always optimists, and to say by a 35 to 24% margin, they think they'll add to headcount, that's pretty close to the line. And I think most firms are really going to have trouble unless we get some significant government funding for infrastructure and for backstopping the loss of revenue by state and local governments.
Thank you to Vandergraaf for sponsoring this Road to Recovery video. Visit their website to learn how the Grizzly Drive drum motor increases the reliability and reduces the cost of ownership of conveyor systems.